What was that? If you'd switched off from this last T20I between India and Afghanistan thinking, well, it's a dead rubber, I'm so sorry for you because you've missed an absolute classic at Chinnaswamy. The first double super over in the history of men's T20 internationals. It ebbed and flowed all throughout to think India were 22 for 4 back in the day and where the contest went. There's so much to unpack. Let's dive straight into our takeaways. Where better to begin than Rohit Sharma, who, after having not scored a run in the first two games, got to bat thrice in the third game. Both the super overs, he made an impact, including a very smart, prudent retiring out of himself in the last ball of that first super over. But obviously, it's all about that main innings. You could sense the desperation, just the way that innings went. India were 22 for 4. He had to recalibrate. He couldn't go hammer and tongs. 50 of 41 balls is what he reached. And you have to see that in the context of the game. He had to stabilize for India, but then he took off the way Rohit Sharma so often takes off, and that was a sight to behold. It was a T20I 100 against Afghanistan that kickstarted Virat Kohli's resurgence back in 2022. Could this 100 for Rohit Sharma against the same opponent kickstart his right before a T20 World Cup? That India got to 212 after being 22 for 4 also had a lot to do with Rinku Singh. He shared that record stand with Rohit Sharma. And what do you say about him? It's almost like every time he bats for India in T20Is, he furthers his case. He further establishes himself as the most pedigreed finisher. And it's not just because of that outrageous strike rate, which is touching 180, but also because already in such a small sample, he's played three credible knocks where he's had to do both the things. First, stabilize the innings, coming in earlier than expected, and then tee off at the end. You saw that against Australia in Raipur. You saw that in that first game in South Africa, where he came in the power play but then stayed till the end. And now you've seen that again. So Rinku Singh really just keeps upping his value as a potential finisher for India's T20 World Cup. There's so many spots up for debate when you consider India's potential T20 World Cup squad. I feel one that is a race that could intensify is the one for the spin all-rounder. You saw Washington Sundar make a mark in the final T20I, 3 for 18 in 3 overs in a 200 plus game. Is stellar stuff. He had a neat economy throughout the series. You've seen Akshar Patel excel in both the series India have played at home since the ODI World Cup. The one against Australia, the one against Afghanistan. Curiously enough, he wasn't picked for the one in the middle, which was in South Africa, which is when Ravindra Jadeja returned. But those were the only two T20Is Jadeja has played in the last year and a half. Between these three, there's still a lot that India need to decide if they are to see who's the best fit at number 7, or potentially two of them playing at 7 and 8. So the IPL holds extreme importance for these three and also so many other players. And finally, let's take a look at Afghanistan. They came so close to getting their first ever win against India. It's a series they lose 3-0, but they do take positives. Posted good totals in the first two games, nearly chased down such a high total in the third. So the batting came good, especially the performances of Gulbadin Naib and Mohammad Nabi will give them a lot of confidence. You have to factor in that they were without Rashid Khan in this series, and you also have to factor in that when you go to the Caribbean, we don't know about the US, but the pitches in the West Indies, if they're anything like they have been in the past, it automatically makes Afghanistan a threat, given Rashid Khan, given the might of their spin attack. And add to that, that their group could potentially make things interesting because they're tied alongside New Zealand and West Indies. So you never know. Two of those teams go through to the Super 8s. No one's going to take them lightly. Watch out for Afghanistan by the time they reach the Caribbean.